And a very good Monday afternoon. Rob Calhoun with Issues and Attitudes today. Jeff Owens is out. Our guest today from the Booth Library is Beth Heldebrandt, the Public Relations Director, and Trevor Burrows, the Digital Initiatives Coordinator and Instructor of History. And good afternoon, both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I want to pull that mic a little bit closer to you there. First off, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at the library. We'll start with Beth.
Okay, as Public Relations Director, I have a lot of hats that I wear, but mainly publicity for any of our programs. I manage our social media accounts, send press releases, do a little bit of graphic design and photography. I also help with donor relations, grant writing, and those sorts of things.
Yeah, and as Digital Initiatives Coordinator, I help to support various aspects of digital scholarship and research that involve technology and computers in one way or the other. And that's for students and faculty across campus. And as part of that, I help to coordinate the Center for Student Innovation on the first floor of Booth Library.
And what is the Center for Student Innovation?
It's a really unique multi-purpose space. It's got, on the one hand, a large area it's really intended for active learning. You can hold workshops there. You can host a class in there. But then on the other hand, it has technology that you might associate with the maker space. So things like 3D printers, podcasting station, virtual reality equipment, things of that sort. And all of that is available for students and faculty to use in different ways.
Right now, the big thing with the library is the search for the new library dean. What does the dean of the library do?
So the Dean of the Library oversees library services, which is everything related to Booth Library. So the person is a dean in the same way we have deans of all of the academic colleges, dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences and that sort of thing. So he does serve, current person serves on the Dean's Council, reports to the provost and directly to the president. So in charge of budgeting and overseeing all the staff and programming and everything that we do there.
And how long have you been searching?
Our previous dean, Zach Newell, left at the end of last summer. So we have had an acting dean of library service, Ryan Hendrickson, who is also the dean of the graduate school. So he's been filling in. Our search kicked off in the fall, and our candidates will begin. We have 2 finalists who will be visiting campus. The first one arrives tomorrow.
All right. And you also have a student consulting team being formed. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Before the pandemic, we had a group of students. We called them library ambassadors at the time. Anyone who is very interested in Booth Library and helping us to promote it and that sort of thing. So we had that going for a semester or 2, and then the pandemic hit, and we're now trying to revitalize that group. So any students, undergraduates or graduate students who spend time in the library, like to hang out there, have ideas for cool programs or ways that we could better serve students, we would like those students to get involved. So anyone who's interested in that, we're having a meeting in the Edgar Room of the library, which is on the north end of the library, this Wednesday at 5 o'clock. So students can just show up. You don't have to register. We'll have snacks. And we just kind of want to bounce ideas off you and see what we can do at the library to better serve our students.
And how important is it to get the students involved?
We think it's very important. We're thinking all the times about things we can do to reach students, but who knows that better than students themselves? So a lot of times we will count on our student workers to help us spread word of programs and activities. I think students sometimes, when they hear about cool things at the library from other students, rather than from old people like me, they might be more likely to participate and get more excited about it.
Coming up in February, you're going to have an Empowered Researcher sessions offered to the students as well.
I'll let Trevor take that one.
Sure. So the Empowered Researcher series is a collection of small workshops. I think they're about a half hour each, and they're really intended to be very quick easy sessions that students can use to just level up their learning and their research skills a little bit. So we've got a session, for instance, on how to use or how to choose search terms when you're trying to find things to use in your research. I'll actually be leading a session on finding data for your research. So very quick, simple topics that can help students go a lot farther in their learning and their research.
How advanced has it been to be able to find stuff in the library compared to what it used to be in the Stone Ages when I went to school in college?
I think obviously in many ways it's fairly advanced, but with innovation comes new sets of hurdles, right? So we, for instance, provide access to all sorts of databases. They don't always talk to each other, so you need to know a little bit about how the search catalog works, how different databases are organized in order to find the stuff that you need.
I remember we had to look things up on a card, then we had to find it on the microfilm and make copies of it. And that's probably not around anymore, is it?
No, but we have the search catalog, and we have all sorts of different access points to get into the different materials we have. And of course, we've got a whole host of librarians that are ready to help you as well, and helpful staff at the circulation desk.
And do you think with the age of the internet, it's way easier to find things now than what it used to be?
I think so. I think I remember, combing through the stacks and pulling out big, thick books and finding the pages I need and hauling them up to a copier and having to make the copies. And I mean, you can still do that, but a lot of that information is now available online. So it's, just like doing a Google search, although the library catalog is much better than Google if you're looking for research for your paper. But, you type in a couple of words, all kinds of stuff comes up, and a lot of it you can find just right there on your computer without even having to go get the book off the shelf.
And I'm pretty sure that the students are not aware of how much the library has as far as research, and you can go find about anything, I would guess.
Yeah, we're pretty proud of our collection. We built it up a lot over the years. As Trevor mentioned, a lot of our budget goes toward electronic resources these days rather than the physical books, although we do, of course, still buy a lot of those every month. But yeah, we have a lot of resources that people don't know. For example, we have a streaming video, we have streaming music. All you need is your Panther card to access that stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff, anything from the books and the articles, but we also have music scores for the music students out there, and movies and CDs if you still have a CD player. And as Trevor noted in the CSI, research these days is not just writing a research paper necessarily. We have students who come do a podcast instead of writing a research paper, or maybe print something on 3D, or use some of the other resources down there. That research is really just not what we think of, back when I was in school, where all we ever did was write research papers.
You have a team challenge coming up called Code Breakers. What is that?
Yeah, this is a fun activity happening this Thursday at 5 o'clock. A couple of our librarians, Kirsten Duffin and Amy Adworka, along with an intern that we had last semester, came up with this as an introduction to students at the library. So it's going to be fun. They have a series of clues where student teams of up to 4 students will be running around the library on Thursday afternoon. So you get a clue, you figure that out, it takes you somewhere in the library. Well, you'll get another clue, you figure that out, that takes you somewhere else in the library. So 8 teams max are going to compete against each other and see which one of them can break their code first and get back to the starting point so that they can win the raffle prize. And I have to tell you, I checked right before the show, and 7 teams have already signed up. So we only have 1 spot left. However, if we got a lot of interest, they will offer this again. So get your name on a waiting list if you don't get to participate this time.
It'd be my luck. I'd get that first clue and never be able to find that second clue.
Well, we do have a kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card in their packet, which is you can ask a librarian for help once. So if you we'll have some librarians standing by in various strategic locations, and you can take that card up, and they'll give you a little boost to send you in the right direction if you get stuck.
Also have some awards coming up, the annual awards for excellence competition.
Right. We have done this, I want to say maybe for close to 20 years now. What used to be the Library Advisory Board, it's now called the Booth Collaborative Advisory Committee, sponsors these awards. So any student who has used Booth Library to complete a research project, and again, that can be a research paper, but it doesn't have to be. We've had people enter videos, an actual artwork that they've created, anything that they used Booth Library resources to complete the research. So that could be they used our computer labs, they looked up stuff in the catalog, one of our librarians helped them. Any sort of resource, any way that they use Booth Library to complete their research project, students can enter it into this competition. The Booth Collaborative Committee, which is made up of students and faculty across campus, are the judges. So students have until midnight, March 2nd, to enter, and then throughout March they will judge the entries, and we will award cash prizes to the winners in both undergraduate and graduate categories in April.
Is there a cost to enter, and
No.
how would they enter?
Yeah, it's free to enter, and any students who are used to the scholarship portal, Academic Works, it's listed there with all the other scholarships that you can apply for. So there is information on the library website, library.eiu.edu, but if students are used to going to where they look for all the other scholarships, they should be able to find the Booth Library Awards for Excellence entry form right there.
Another program you have planned for the spring is Digital Sandbox, and when I think of sandbox, I think of going and playing in the sand, but I know that that's not it.
It's kind of it in its own way. The Digital Sandbox series is intended to be a group of workshops where you can come and learn a new digital skill, often related to learning and research in some way. And it's intended to be kind of a safe space where you can play around in the sandbox, so to speak. You won't hurt anything, you can't break anything. They're participatory workshops where you get your hands a little dirty trying out a new piece of software or trying to do something new.
I know that I've dealt with the Digital Sandbox before, and it's a way to test it without messing up anything else.
Exactly. So some of the sessions that we've got planned, I'll lead a session on introduction to data wrangling with the tool called Open Refine. So that's going to be an opportunity to open a data set in this tool, play around with it, learn what this tool can do, that it helps you reshape your data, helps you combine or merge or distinguish your data in different ways. And you can do all that fairly safely and with no judgment if you get something wrong.
And how do people access it?
So the Digital Sandbox workshop series, we're finalizing the dates, but you'll register. There will be links to register for the series on the CSI website. There will be at least 3 sessions this semester. The aforementioned session on data wrangling. There will also be a session on how to do computational text analysis with a tool called Lexos, basically how to use computers to do fun things with words, and then a series on spatial storytelling with Esri story maps, how to create maps that you can use to tell a story or to kind of show change over time in your research or presentations.
What other CSI programs do you have available this spring?
I'm really excited. We're planning to roll out introductions to at least 2 pieces of equipment that we have in the CSI. So these will be hands-on workshops to learn how to use the 3D printers, which is really exciting. We've had these for a while, and although a lot of students and faculty know they can use them, I think this is our first organized effort to really put the word out and give people an opportunity to come learn how to do it hands-on. We'll also do the same thing with our podcasting equipment as well.
You're talking about CSI, and whenever I hear the word CSI, I think about the crime scenes and all that. What does CSI stand for?
It stands for Center for Student Innovation, and really the goal with the equipment in the center, as well as the unique space in the center, is to provide students and faculty a place where they can try new things, both in the way they teach and the way they learn and perform their research. We've got all sorts of things that hopefully will just inspire people to try something new, and that's really the goal.
We're a little bit over halfway in. We're talking to Beth Heldebrandt and Trevor Burrows from the Booth Library, and this was very, very popular in the past, a blind date with a book.
Right. Last February, we offered blind date with a book for the first time. It was overwhelmingly popular, so we offered it again in October, and we will be bringing it back again this February. So as of February 1st, on the main floor of the library, People can find our display of blind date books. What that means is we choose several titles of various types of books. We wrap them so you can't see what the book is. We write some hints on the outside, some clues about, the content of the book. And then people browse and they just choose a book like a blind date. They don't really know what they're getting, but they just have some clues maybe from compare it to an online dating profile perhaps. You check out the book, take it home, and then you can unwrap it and see who you're going to have your blind date with. This year, we also have a Spanish fraternity who is going to offer some Spanish language books. So we haven't done that before. They're going to choose the books that Booth Library has in Spanish. They're going to come over on Friday and help us wrap the books and put some clues in Spanish on the outside. So that'll be another new level of fun this time around. Cool. And if you participate, then we'll be inside each book a little card with the QR code leading you to a survey that you can fill out to let us know how your blind date went. Most people previously told us, I probably wouldn't have read this book had I known what it was beforehand, but they found that they've gotten to know some new authors or some new genres that they hadn't read before, and they really liked it.
I would ask you what the titles are, but that would be spoiling all the fun.
No, I can't do that.
What kind of genres are you talking then?
In October, we focused a lot because it was October. We had a lot of, sci-fi and horror type books. So this time, it'll be all over the place. We'll have some bestsellers, we'll have some biographies, we'll have some graphic novels, we'll have some from our children's area, middle grade, high school level books, nonfiction, fiction. We'll have a little bit of everything, trying to make sure we have something that appeals to everyone.
Now, how long does it take to get together, decide how many books you're going to put in, what kind of books you're going to put in, and stuff like that?
Well, we found out the first time that we didn't have enough books on our list. As I said, it turned out to be much more popular than we had expected because we hadn't done it before. We started with, I think, a list of 50 books, and those were gone in no time, so we kept putting the word out around the library. We asked all of our staff members in the library to help us create the book list to start. In October, we ended up with a book list of, I think, about 135 books, and all but a handful were checked out. So now we know that we need to start with about 150 books planned. We can put about 30 books out at a time on the table, and then we just always we have a whole wrapping station set up in our office where we're constantly wrapping books during February to keep up with the demand, and we just try to keep the table full at all times.
So do you have very good book wrappers then? Because I know if it was me, my book would be wrapped up and it would look horrible.
Well, we have some student workers who love to do that sort of thing, so we're counting on them. They're good at it.
And you also have the spring book sale that will be coming up. I know that it's a fundraiser for the library.
Right.
And could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, we don't have the date yet, but we always have a fall and spring book sale. The spring book sale is usually during National Library Week, which is in April. This year, National Library Week is in late April, like the last week of classes, so we're seriously considering not hosting our book sale during the last week of classes. I just don't think that would be a very good idea. So it will probably be somewhere around the second week or so of April. We will announce the date later. But year-round, we accept book donations from anyone. Anyone in the community can bring, clearing off your bookshelves. Our librarians go through all of the donated books that we receive and see if we already have the book, if we need the book, if we want the book. If the book we have on our shelf is in poorer condition than the one that was just donated, we'll swap them out. But in the end, we end up with thousands of books that were either donated or replaced from our shelves that we set out for our book sale. It will be outside, weather permitting, underneath the clock tower. And, it's just a good way for us to get some extra funds, thanks to our generous donors who bring their books to us. And that goes into just our general library fund to use for extra things and programs and fun stuff at the library.
Now, when you decide the price of the book, does it depend whether it's in great condition, okay condition, stuff like that, or is it just one set price?
We have one set price for hardback, paperback, and then sometimes we'll have albums. I'm looking at the albums on the wall here behind you. The students get really excited when we have albums for sale because sometimes we do get those donated, and DVDs and things like that. We just have one set price for each.
That makes it a lot easier for the people who are checking out,
That's
too.
correct.
Edible Book Festival, I don't think you have any details on that yet,
Yeah.
but what do you do with that?
That is another thing that we have routinely offered during National Library Week. Usually we kick off the week on Monday with that. It's a fun opportunity, and we have a lot of participation from the community, not just on campus, but anyone is welcome to enter. You basically choose any book title or theme and make something to demonstrate that book out of food. So we don't actually eat the entries.
Oh, man.
but whatever you make is supposed to be made out of food. We've had lots of really creative entries over the years. People bring them in the morning. We set them out. We did it virtually over pandemic, but now we can do it again in person where we set them out and people can stop by during the day, vote for their favorites, and then late afternoon we award prizes.
Then
It's a lot of fun.
what do you do with the books afterwards, or the Edible Book
the people
Festival?
who entered take them home and they can do whatever. I guess they can eat it if they want, but we're not going to. We usually have some other sort of snack or something to serve at the awards reception. But yeah, it's fun to just walk around and see what people have come up with. Very, very, very unique. A lot of times it's decorated cakes, but it goes beyond that. We've had, fruits and vegetables and anything that you can think of that has been used to demonstrate a book or a book theme.
I'm going to ask both of you this question, kind of putting you on the spot a little bit, but what is your favorite part of the Booth Library?
For me, it's the programs that we do. I like walking through the building and seeing all the different people there. Lots of students, but we also are open to the community. So you can walk through the building and see a high school who's come for the day to do research, and some retirees sitting in the same computer lab working on something. And the programs that we offer, we try to hit all of those. We offer a lot. We host, I should say. It's not always the library presenting it, but people who use our spaces. We have, Academy of Lifelong Learning programs that take place in there, plus a lot of things for students, faculty, and staff. So it's fun to get people in the library and show them that a library is more than just books.
I'm fairly new to Booth Library. I just arrived in August of last year, and I think for me what I've most enjoyed so far is just the range of people that we have in the library serving students and faculty, and I'm lucky enough to be surrounded by thoughtful, creative folks who are just out there trying to find ways to serve the community and to help them do their best work here at EIU. So I'd say the people are pretty top-notch.
How many people do you have working at the library?
Not counting students, I think it's 35. That includes librarians and civil service staff.
And what kind of jobs do you have there?
Yeah. We have our library staff, so they all went to library school, unlike me. They have a variety of roles. Some of them are in charge of the circulation desk. Some of them are in charge of ordering the books and materials and those sorts of things, but all of them also have backgrounds in various areas of librarianship. Our reference librarians are all subject librarians, so we have all of our academic areas on campus split. In case students don't know this, let's say you are a history student. That's you, right, Trevor?
Yes.
Trevor is your personal librarian. If you have an English class and you have to write an English paper, we have David Bell, who is the English librarian. So we have very specialized people who know the best resources in math or science or English or whatever, and they can really help you, give you one-on-one help if you're looking for research. So that's what our librarians do. And then the civil service staff like me, we have office workers. We have a lot of people who run the public service desks as far as handling interlibrary loan, checking out books, reshelving books, and all that important work behind the scenes.
Let's say I walk into the library, I'm in there for the first time, I'm looking around saying, oh my goodness, where do I start? How do I start?
I would suggest that you go to one of the public service desks. There are 3 of them on the main floor. So whether you walk in the north end or the south end, There are 3 different desks right in that main hallway that should have somebody sitting there that you can go up and ask for help. It is kind of an overwhelming place because our library building is very large and it's 4 floors. And, you know, if you're not used to large libraries like that, it can be intimidating. But it's a fun place. We encourage people to hang out there. You can bring your lunch there. You can meet your friends there, you know, with a normal expected level of noise. You got to keep it down a little bit because you're in the library, but our study rooms on the 4th floor are very popular with students because they can reserve those. It's free, but they can reserve those in advance and know that they're going to have a quiet place to study.
I know I did that when I was at the University of Central Florida. We had the study rooms, and it was always nice to be able to go somewhere where we could all meet and talk,
Yes.
where we didn't have to worry about being interrupted.
That's right. And we have study rooms that I think seat as many as 8.
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
What are the library hours?
During the main semester, Monday through Thursday, it's 8 a.m. to midnight. Friday, it's 8 a.m. to 5. Saturday, it's 9 to 5. Sunday, it's noon to midnight. I hope I got that right.
I think so.
It sounded right to me. You talked about the public can use the library. How would they do so?
Because we are a state of Illinois funded library, we are a public library open to any resident of Illinois. So you just have to get a community borrower's card. So if you come to the library, go to the circulation desk, say, I want a community borrower's card. You fill out just showing, you know, proof of residency basically, and it's just like, you know, the Charleston Public Library where you'll have a library card that you can come in and check out materials or use our computer labs, or just like most of the resources that we offer the community can use as well.
Would students, faculty, and staff then use their Panther card?
Yes, Panther card is the library card for anyone associated with EIU.
Anything that you want to add that we haven't talked about here?
You?
No, just check out the CSI website to keep on top of some of the other events that we'll have planned. We'll add to the list throughout the semester, but I'm really excited about the workshops we have planned so far.
Did you warn him about the world famous 8 questions?
Uh-oh.
Well, I told him sometimes if we don't run out of time, we'll have some rapid fire questions. Is that what you're going to do to us?
Yes.
Okay.
What's your favorite place in Charleston?
Favorite place in Charleston? The lake.
The lake so far for me as well.
Flavor of ice cream that's your go-to?
Strawberry.
Butter pecan.
Vacation hotspot?
Beach.
Wow, I'd have to
Any
think
beach.
about that a little bit. A cabin in the woods is great.
If you could bring one thing to Charleston business, what would it be?
One thing. A good Italian restaurant.
A good soup and salad spot.
Beth Heldebrandt and Trevor Burrows from the Booth Library, thanks for joining us here today on Issues and Attitudes. We really appreciate you coming by and letting us know about the Booth Library.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
This has been Issues and Attitudes.